This is Reality with Partiality. I am your host, Percy Lewis, and together with my co-host,
Ivan Williams.
co-host, you know, my capacity as a life transformation coach, wherein clients routinely ask me how they're supposed to be. Well, human beings are the only creatures dubbed as beings, but they are born already knowing how to be. Being comes with the ability to make free will choices. Would you ask a tree or an animal, a cow maybe, what it wants to be? Other created creatures and things do not have the ability to make choices. All they can aspire toward is becoming full-fledged whatever, whether a full-fledged tree, a full-fledged cow, and the like. Human beings are to be wise to do in like manner, aspire to become full-fledged human beings, which is a lifelong process, such that as long as one's mental acuity remains intact, she should only become full-fledged whenever she is dead. So back to the question, how should one be? Well, there are two parts to a person. The psychological drama and the existential reality. Your personality, character, makeup, thought and emotion, i.e., are all part and parcel of your psychological drama. So they are unreal. They have to do with lifestyle, not life itself. Life has to do with your 3 score and 10 and perhaps brighter. One should neither be pessimistic nor optimistic, for that's not how life is. God is neither pessimistic nor optimistic. God is real. So is life. Life is real. Therefore, one ought to be realistic. Reality is what comes naturally. If one has to invent it, then it's either a story or a lie. Truth and reality are related in that truth is something you can only come to realize and for yourself. It's when you go, aha, I got it. What you do, co-host, is make all their emotions sweet so people fall in love with you. Whereas you can only influence the environment, giving others have a say-so. And when things are not going your way or others' way, it's going God's way. You have 100%, however, control over yourself, your body, energy system, thought, and emotion. So, when the environment is pleasant, that's what people call a success. But as for you as an individual, you are able to make yourself pleasant all the way around. In making your body pleasant, you experience good health and pleasantness. In making your energy system pleasant, you become blissful and often ecstatic. In making your mind pleasant, you become peaceful and joyful. And in making your emotions pleasant, you become loving and compassionate. The other creatures come 90% fixed, and only 10% alterable. However, human beings are the opposite. They're only 10% fixed, with an entire 90% alterable. The 10% that are fixed are mostly genetic factors. But up to age 20 or so, a person has a whole 90% to alter, change. In a conducive environment, that is. Your karma, meaning choices, is the engine, the driver. You can consciously become different from your parents even. Even some genetic factors, such as generational curses, you can disallow from being transferred to yourself. Finally, allow me to say that God, who is unseen, neither has a personality nor a character, only a presence. That will be all you need to be. A distinct, undeniable, one-of-a-kind, powerful presence. For as an individual, you are indivisible. Therefore, just be. Find your niche and become the very best version of yourself. Attorney Jacqueline Willoughby, known as Jackie. Welcome to Reality with Partiality, our friend. Stay in front of the narrative by telling Belize and the world by extension about yourself, your early childhood, your present circumstances, and your vision for the future. That is becoming the best version of yourself.
Good
Jackie,
good
please go
morning,
on
Belize.
ahead.
Good morning, Belize.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Good morning.
I've been challenged this morning to talk about myself, something I don't do often. So let me tell you who Jackie Willoughby is. Jackie Willoughby is a girl from the south side of Belize, born to parents Sheila and Tilbert Willoughby, both now deceased. Um, how my life started is from humble beginnings. I attended high school, Nazarene High School, and I went from there to have this hunger in me to serve people. I've lived a difficult life, and based on the fact that I had to fight basically for everything I had, and I could see circumstances around me, I bonded with people. I realized that one of the things that I needed to do was to serve. I needed to serve people. I'm deeply spiritual. Those of you who are akin to my Facebook page will know that I do nothing without Jesus Christ on my side. And none of us can do anything without him. So I begin to pray about what I wanted to do. And from a very early age, I found myself serving on Radio Belize way back when on the children's show that was both early morning and the one on Saturday. Then I found myself with the likeness of people like Andy Palacio and other people in different youth groups. And we used to go out and serve people. So I've consistently lived this life of service. And I later in my years, I joined the union. But what made me join the union was not necessarily because Jackie Willoughby needed help. It was because Jackie Willoughby saw around her the injustices that occurs in public service. And there were people who didn't know how to speak for themselves. And there's this wonderful verse that I found in the Bible, in Proverbs, that said that we're supposed to talk for people who can't talk for themselves, and to seek justice for those who are unable to do so for themselves. And so I began this mission. I began this mission of serving in the union, starting way back as a counselor until I made myself all the way up to the president. Now, you might think the climb was an easy one. It wasn't an easy one, because it caused you to face off with governments. It caused you to face off with employers. It caused you to face off with issues that were troubling and unfair to the nation of Belize. People see the union and people think that, all they want are pay raise, and no, that's not all we want. Unions, particularly the Public Service Union, has influenced the shape of Belize because it had been involved in the Heads of Agreement. And I was involved in the Heads of Agreement from age 9 years old, when people were running around and doing what they needed to do. So the union gave me that lift and the courage. Now, I want you to understand something about me. I do not fear anyone. I believe in speaking the truth. I believe in committing every single thing I do to God. So even in the union, I committed. I consistently committed everything I would do to God. And when I spoke from a position of strength. I read a lot. I love reading. I read a lot, and I like mixing. I like mixing with the ordinary man. So the people on the ground was always important. We tend to only want to make policies at management level and at ministerial level without hearing from people. I am of the view that persons are stakeholder in their own growth in any country, in any office, in their household. And my mantra is always to have respect for people, and always to be honest about my approach in how I'm going to be dealing with things. And so that propelled me well in the union. and caused people from north to south and even beyond their borders, regionally and internationally, to recognize me as a person of strength to the extent that it pushed me over to being a negotiator. So, what I would do is I would get up and I would go to other countries where there were issues with public servants to go and negotiate. And so, if I could do that, I just have to shift a little because there's rain coming now. So I did that, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was never about me. It's still not about me. Although this show speaks about the best version of myself, the best version of myself is realized through the people I serve. I tend to push to serve people. If all you could see is yourself and you are unable to take your strengths and build people, you have failed at being the best version of yourself. The Bible calls us to go into the world and serve people. That that did not just mean spiritually. That meant in every aspect of your life. And so I purpose myself that in every walk of my life, I will serve people. My life ministry will be about service. I've done it as an immigration officer. I've done it as the Account Counsel in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. I've done it every single day in my life. Um, so, but how does service come? You might question, how does service come? Service addresses every single aspect of people, not only the rich one, not only the in between one, but a better focus on those who need you more than the one who might be rich or the one who might be in the middle. So I meet people on the level where they are. I want to hear from you. I do not think any question is stupid. I think it is significant that you raise the question or you'd never be able to get the answer. I've never felt that as a person I was too small. I encourage my union members consistently. I said, if you don't know somebody, then you must come to know them. And that has been my attitude. I've entered rooms people say that I had no business being in. But as long as I am a child of God, I belong in every room. And I would enter the door. I don't need an invitation. As long as you have what I need or you can serve some purpose, I am going to enter the room and I'm going to come to know you and you will come to know me. And that, I know you don't do this from a rude perspective and you don't do it from a disrespectful perspective. You do it from the perspective of fulfilling the ministry that you have, which is service. I moved over, I most recently retired. And one of the reasons I became an attorney is simply because I wanted to help people. So in the union, what used to happen was you used to take cases to the commission or sometimes to the labor department, and it did not come out in the fashion that you wanted it to come out. And so it felt like we were losing ground. It felt that every single time a matter had to go to the court, there was no one to help us. And there was this wonderful attorney, Dean Lindo, who is now deceased, who became one of my mentors. And I called him one day and I said, listen, I need to take some matters to the court. I am not an attorney, but I know what I want to say. So he said to me, if it is you can put the document together, I will take it for you. I did every research possible. It wasn't that hard because I was already a prosecutor. I was already operating in the law. I did not have a law degree, but I had sufficient law in me that I was able to successfully prosecute matters in the magistrates court and at different tribunals. And I was teaching. So my learning was increasing. As you might appreciate, that life is an education stage. Every single day, you will learn something, and every person can teach you something. And I prepared my documentation and I gave him 6 cases. And he took the cases to the High Court, which was then the Supreme Court, and every one of them we won. So he called me to his office and he said, why don't you go and study law? I said, I'm not interested in studying law. I was more interested in breaking the law, because if it is that government would continue to treat public servants as though they're just totally subservient, then I needed to be on the side that would remind them constantly that this would not be the case. And he said, no, man, you need to go study law. And I mulled over it, mulled over it, mulled over it, mulled over it. And finally, I went. And one of the things in Belize people like to get upset for is when government assists you with getting financial assistance to going to study law. Let me educate the people of Belize. The Treaty of Chaguarama says that every single time a Belizean is accepted in the University of the West Indies, they are entitled to economic costs from the government of Belize. So I feel no guilt, none at all, for making sure that I access that to go. I am not rich, I am poor, and I needed help, and I needed that help so that I could help other people. So I have absolutely no guilt in me for accessing that. And you, the Belizean public, especially young students, should not feel guilty in accessing that. It just so happened that our strong two-party system, the UDP and the PUP, are always the ones in government. So if you're not get it from UDP, you have to get it from PUP. And so it doesn't matter which color party line that you got it. It matters that what you receive, you use to come back and to serve this country and to serve people, because that is what it is about. It is a continuous conversation. And so I came back as an attorney. And at that time, I worked in the DPP's office as a crown counsel. And I enjoyed my time sorely as a prosecutor. I enjoy my time in the law. I enjoy my time learning more and more to help. I am now on the side of defense attorney. So I'm a defense attorney now. And though this world is new to me, there's nothing in this world that I cannot conquer. There is nothing in this world that's going to stop me from go where I need to go. And so I am moving in that direction. And again, it is now another opportunity I have to serve people because I'm on the defense side. So the thing about me is I'm not cocky, I'm not bashful. I am confident in who I am. There are times people are afraid to say exactly who they are because of the blowback that you might get about being, you think you're better than people, you think you're cocky. No. You're called to have confidence about yourself as long as you do not go into the direction of stepping on people. You're not supposed to step on people. Then now I'm making my bid for politics. Now, it was a long, hard decision because in Belize, we tend to just categorize people by party color. I am running as the mayor for the United Democratic Party. What do I bring to the table? I bring my integrity. I have an issue with the way we are behaving in this country, where some of us as politicians believe that we are gods over the people. We are not gods over the people. Every time you go to the polls and you vote for any one of us, you have successfully employed us and you must hold us accountable all the time. The same applies in the union, the same applies in any organization. Members, citizens must understand that they ought not be afraid to hold people accountable. I am not into character bashing, I am into improvement of people. How do I see myself as a mayor? I see myself on another level of serving the people of Belize. We have a beautiful city. There's many things that needs to come back to the city. People need to have a voice. People need to be listened to. In the past, I think one of my issue as a citizen is the imbalance of service that is meted out in the city. Make a block that down in a small change. Some of our street get fixed, some of our street not get fixed. Some of our investors, those that are already investors are pepped up, and there seem to be not much opportunity for the small man to become an investor without having to pay the exorbitant taxes, or without having to without being able to find an adequate space for that to happen. My approach will always be to listen to people. My approach will always be, this city needs to be beautified. My approach will always be, the City Council Act speaks right now to taxes, trade license, fixing the streets, property taxes, investments, and in my humble opinion, it's a little bit limited. It is almost impersonal and calls only for us to get from the people instead of sharing with the people. I plan to bring, I don't have all the answers for who the mayor must be, but I can say I didn't have all the answers either when I became the president of the Public Service Union. But what I had, I used, which was to learn from the people the direction that we wanted to go, and to couple that with the knowledge that I have. No one person has all the answers. I don't care how good they put themselves out there. And a part of me wanting to give this service is a part of me wanting to elevate Belize City along with its citizens. Not elevate Jackie Willoughby. And I know the thing people always say, oh, politicians come and they want full name packet. Well, I always say, I must say, and be the poorest attorney on the face of Belize. Because I'm not in the mindset to just charge people, especially the man of straw, to the level that other attorneys may. Now, I know they beat down the other attorney, because studying law is very expensive. And this profession, you have a lot of sleepless nights. When most of you are resting, we have to be up to figure out how we want to save on a life. But at the same time, I want to keep my humility, and I want to keep my integrity, and I want people to understand that I have a genuine interest in my heart to serve. I can't be the mayor without the citizens of Belize backing me. I cannot be effective if you don't tell me what your problems are. I don't live in the entire Belize, and it is hardly possible for me to be on every single street. And so I intend to devise a strategy on how I would be able to speak to people and address the issues that are raised to me within the meaning of the law. And of course, I'm going to try to extend a little to see how, instead of always just working, there are things we can do to help people to make a better living. Who Jackie Willoughby is, you will know her as a person who serves. You will know her as a person who speaks straightforward. You will know her as a person who have no fear to address prime ministers of this country. You will know her as the person who has no fear to stand with you at the Battlefield Park or any street that I need to stand on with a placard calling on the government to do better. You will know her as a person that you're able to approach and able to allay your issues. It is a changing time in Belize. It is an absolutely changing time in Belize, in the world where cost of living is so high. And the only way we will make this is if we partner together. And so I ask you, the people of Belize, to partner with me as mayor for Belize and to hold me accountable in any area that you think I might be faltering. That's who Jackie Willoughby is.
Okay, Jackie, you don't leave much room for questions. You were very clear, and compelling. And so, integrity, you repeated that concept. To my mind, it's wanting for others the same thing that you want for yourself. Their well being, nothing more, nothing less. Would that be a definition you'd accept for integrity?
My definition of integrity
Wanting for others the same thing you'd want for yourself, would that be a fair definition?
exactly. Yes, the golden rule. Integrity
Okay.
goes with the golden rule. In the same way, I don't want to see nobody they live in the swamp and water in the bottom of the house. I don't want that for me. The same way I don't want to see my garbage turning over in my yard and city council not come pick it up. I don't want that for anybody. I want for everybody to live decent. We're not called to be pigs. We're called to be human beings. And
Okay.
somehow we feel that at the level of the city council, it's always fanfare. Now, one of my greatest weakness is because I don't really like fanfare. I want to make we get done and make we do the work. Because if I call on you to do certain things, I must be able and willing to do that thing. And I don't need
Okay.
all the fanfare, but I know politics don't work like that. Politics are fanfare. So I'm sure
Mhm.
there's going to be some fanfare, but in the midst of that, I want to keep my integrity in serving people.
Okay. Well, you see, we've agreed on more or less a definition. You live that, you and practice that. That's how people give you their trust. But for those who don't trust, they ask them for promissory notes. So I'm glad you got that out the way. So you know that people will be comfortable then giving you their trust. You were a prosecutor. Now you're working the defense side. So you know both sides. You can work both sides. How is that? How is that? What? How is that experience? Being able to work both sides.
In the beginning, it was a tough experience. It was a tough experience because I was asking myself, but no, the same people anyway had to go to jail or going to take me out. So it was a tough experience, but I rested myself in a position that everybody deserves to be heard. No, yes, that Belize, we want to jump on when we say, Hina murderer, Hina this, Hina that, Hina the terror. So I sat down and I evaluated myself as a prosecutor and myself now as a defense attorney. And one of the things I used to practice as a prosecutor, when people used to come to the court and speak, I used to, when accused used to come to the court and speak, I used to say to them, listen, I know why you're coming at this court, can tell me how the police beat you. I want you coming at this court, can tell me whether or not what they say about you are true. Because when I stand up here, everything we in this file when I say about you, I want to say. You have to tell me or the court whether or not this is true. I'm not going to manufacture any evidence against you, but I'm going to come with strength with the evidence that is here against you. I said, so make I give you one pen and one book, make you write down everything when I say about you. So you could ask your question. It's not personal for me, it's business. Now I'm on the defense side and I I operate much in the same sphere, except the purpose is different. And I say to my clients, listen, a lot of things will be said about you. You hired me to speak against those things. But if you're not honest with me, I want you to be honest with me and tell me exactly what I need to know because I don't like surprises. And so when I failed to speak about the cases in Cayo, and I want to speak about it because that was one of the other things that made me want to come and run as mayor. So I was innocently in the courtroom defending somebody else when I was approached by somebody who asked me to take on the registration cases. And I've always heard these registration cases, and actually I've seen a couple, and it appeared to be very straightforward. You go to court, you object, the judge either agree with you or disagree with you. And then here I was now, I took on these cases. And I was appalled, let me tell you. I was extremely appalled. I could not believe my own eyes that there were politicians in this country who were prepared to truck in people from across the world to come and pad our voters list. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the length that we would go to pad areas so that we could just win elections. And I said, So when I started to focus on the cases closer, I realized that the case has a degree of difficulty. The degree of difficulty was, how do you determine who lives in a person's house? How do you determine 50 people live at the same address? And so I said, there is no way you could actually know if the persons live the way where they say they do. So I said, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to get up physically and I'm going to go to these houses. I'm going to ask for these people. I'm going to compare that with the investigation that the Elections and Boundaries did. I am going to compare that with what the list is. And I started doing that. I started to put off late night work, everything I could do. And that was how I began to realize that these people were actually, it was just about padding the voters list. It was literally about padding the voters list. I consider the vote in Belize a sacred thing. You're voting for people who will run your country. I consider the vote in Belize to be a sacred thing. And here it was being treated wantonly. And so I pushed the level of my effort way up. And sometimes I surprise my own self, because every time I think that I'm done, the adrenaline in me and the integrity in me pushes me to the next level to want.
Yeah, but I want to know about an average man. You win the case then?
I win a lot of cases, but I do not think that justice is exactly about winning and losing. Justice is not about winning and losing. Justice
You don't
is about.
fight for win, Jackie, man. Come on now. You don't fight for win everything.
I fight hard to clear my client's name. I fight very hard for that.
No, I talk about the voters thing. The voters thing.
Oh, well, the voters want that time if you win. I got in that to win. And I did. So the first set of cases had to do with transfers. And that was like 101 persons. And out of that set of persons, we were successful with 24 persons that the judge would say 24 persons had to go back to their original place. So make you understand it easy. When money transfer from one area to the next, the judge said, you don't live here. You didn't live here for the 2 months. You didn't meet the criteria, as a result of which you will not be able to vote in Cayo North. You will have to go back to Hattieville where you came from. Okay. Then there was the other set of cases where it was the annual revision. And in that case, we're saying that you never ever lived at that house. And if you never ever lived at a house, then you're not getting a chance to transfer back where you live, you know. You get struck off of the voters list. And so 24 persons were struck off the voters list.
Okay.
It was the first case. In fact, I think of all the attorneys who have done those cases, I am the only one who successfully got those people struck off the list. Now, that almost sounds like one misnomer. Like you enjoy yourself to have taken the rights away from people to vote.
But it's not about
me taking away the right. It's about doing the right thing.
Okay.
Yes, it's not about me celebrating that. It's about me celebrating the fact that I was able to right the wrongs as it relates to our voters list and to try as hard as we can to keep integrity in elections.
Integrity, man.
Right.
My last question before I yield to my co-host. Jackie, it has to do with discrimination or the lack thereof. You inferred that you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose, okay, let us assume, hypothetically, you get through the UDP process, right? Whether it be a convention or endorsement. You go up against the PUP and you become the mayor. You win. When Hindu confront you, or a Muslim, or a atheist, or a Buddhist, or one non-aligned, would you discriminate against that person?
No, I've never discriminated against anybody. So you might know my history. I came from the immigration department. And the immigration department serve all walks of life. Mm-hmm. I see people I don't care what religion you serve.
Okay.
I like how you started your comments. In your comments, you said everybody have the free will and free choice. They could choose.
Yes.
Understand me?
Yes. Yes.
I cannot prevent people from choosing what religion they want. When you come to see me as the mayor, you didn't come to see me to endorse your religion. You came to see me because you have a problem and you want me to try help you solve that problem. I see
Oh.
everybody as being created in the image of God. Now, what you do with
Aye. You
what
think
you do
we
with that image is up to
all
you.
right.
Understand
Okay.
me? And I will not impose my spiritual beliefs on you, and you will not impose yours on me. But we are do
Oh,
business. We want
okay.
to do business.
We clear on that then. Co-host? Co-host?
Yeah, good morning again. Jackie, you said that you're a product of Southside Belize City. And there seem to be a number of issues and challenges at Southside. And over the years, there hasn't been much change. So, what will you bring, or how do you see dealing with issues in Southside?
Now, I use Southside simply for a geographical purpose. But I don't subscribe to Southside, Northside. I subscribe to the people I Belize. Understand me? And if
Yes.
the people I Belize who emanate from Southside have issues, then they deserve to be treated as equally as the people from the North side or the center side or any side where you want to put them on. This misnomer, this psychological effect what we put in a people's head, you come from the south side, so you're less than the north side. Listen to me, crime exists on two sides. And some of the most heinous crimes come from the north side as well. So I'm not going to see south side Belize and north side Belize. I'm going to see Belize City. Wherever side you come from and there's a problem there, I will do my endeavor best to fix that problem. It is as simple as ABC.
Could you elaborate on how you intend to fix the problems throughout?
Well, which problem you want to fix first?
Well,
Because
we we have the poverty situation, we have the crime situation, we have inability to get access to land and other opportunities, things that
As
human beings.
mayor, man. As mayor, man.
Yeah,
Sure, come on now.
yeah.
in my
Well,
earlier
we
conversation, I said this. I said, Belize, they suffer through an expensive era life. And it is unfortunate that the extremely small businessman, I mean, everybody talk about mama and papa store, but not everybody cater for mama and papa store. Way back when, and because of my exposure in the Caribbean, one of the things I saw that helps people, but you see, you want me to come give away all my ideas yet, you know. I know I have to give away all my ideas. So here how I put this to you. I will certainly devise a strategy to cause people to become self-sustainable. One of the failures I have seen in our country is we do not teach people how to be self-sustainable. And there are ways to do that. There are simple things like subsistence farming right in your backyard. A lot of Belizeans got enough space in their backyard. I've come from countries where I see people plant their basic food in their backyard. There's things like apprentice. You have to put people in an apprentice program. Another type, the LIU type. I type real apprentice program that's going to certify people and to put them in a position to be able to start their own little small business. You got food business, they pop up all over Belize. And some of them people suffer to late night and they barely broke even. You have to find safe spaces for people to operate in while they could get some of the tourism dollar, because that's the next thing. You have to make sure tourism, you get some of that tourist people in the city. Not everybody will always want to go to the cave, because I know everybody come with cave money. Some people only come with walkbout money and they want to experience local dishes. And they don't might necessarily want to go in a restaurant. There has to be spaces that we could create that would assist people to be able to become self-sustainable. Unfortunately, politics over the years has made some of us into beggars. And I am of the view that no matter how poor one man is, he must be able to feel like a king in his castle. And so we have to find a way. We have to find a way to promote people in that angle.
Jackie, you spoke about economic costs, and you and I know that that is only one aspect of the expenses going to law school.
Mm-hmm.
Could you further elaborate on what economic costs really is for the
So
public?
economic cost is one of the biggest chunk that people will spend in going to law school. Like right now, going to the University of the West Indies, at least in Barbados, is up to $44,000 a year. That amount of money covers economic costs, tuition, and amenities. Tuition is about 9,900. Amenities is in the avenue in the area of about $600 or a little bit more. The balance of that money is what is referred to as economic costs. And government is supposed to be able to meet that. And this has to do with agreements in CARICOM on how we sustain the university. And so, for as much as the students of Belize or any of the other Caribbean islands that are signatories to, that are members of CARICOM state, the governments ought to pay that economic cost. Once government pay economic costs, where you really left to pay the $9,900 in a tuition and over $600 in amenities. So that is what I mean about economic costs.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on making people stakeholders rather than, looking at people as top-down approach?
So I could address that from two angles. First, I'll address it from the ordinary citizen, then
Yeah,
I'll
go
address
ahead.
it. Then I will address it from the perspective of workers. Way back when, under the United Democratic Party, there used to be these things called block parties. It used to go into different neighborhoods. In those block parties, people got an opportunity to come out, sell their food. The neighborhood, the community had a chance to bond with each other. And it used to be real good. I mean, it used to last sometime till 12, 1 in the morning. And it was a safe space for people to come, bring their leaf food, bring their leaf craft, bring everything, and make a sale. While at the same time, allowing the other people to come out and mix, know who they're in your community. That is making the small man a stakeholder in your city, as opposed to always pulling taxes from him. Then in the workplace, I am of the firm view that everybody in the workplace must have a say. You're not because you're a lead janitor, you're supposed to be treated like an outcast, like you don't have sense, because your life circumstances may have caused you to get there. But that not means that you don't have a say. So I want to hear from them. I want to hear from the man who come out here and sweep the street. Like one of my pet peeves is observing every time when the workers on the dirt truck come, they don't have no protective gear. You wonder how they get cancer, all kind of thing in this country. Not even one bare mask. And then they observe all that stench. And then me and you passing for we SUV. You're not even one thing about give the people in Wali ideal water for drink. So no, I think that people must be treated as human beings.
The
And they
OSHA bill
must
done
have a
pass,
say.
Jackie? The OSHA bill
The
pass?
OSH bill,
Uh-huh.
that OSH bill, listen to me. They don't want the fights, they don't want to pass the bill. That the whole thing. They still have lot of arguments over it. I think it is now it's still at the House Committee.
Okay.
But
That has been
outside of the OSH bill, the labor law provides for you to take care of people. And outside of the OSH bill, we are signatories to the OSH Convention. And I don't need to remind this country that as long as we are a signatory to those conventions, the benefits of those conventions fall on the people of Belize and we could access it.
further,
What's what they said?
further. Well, yeah, I remember commencing the discussion, and working very hard on the first draft of the ocean bill. People need to realize that I was, as a matter of fact, as Jackie said, ILO Convention 155 is wrong. But we went further and we have a law, ILO Convention Act in Belize, so the conventions are enforceable in Belize. And I
All
cannot
right.
understand myself why. But Jackie, there is one last question I wanted to ask
Last
you.
question. All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there is a thing that people say, oh, it's just a matter of getting in there and you become the same. People seem to have a sense of entitlement, this clientelism, and so on and so on. Tell us about how you're going to address those issues and pressures coming from both sides, from among the rank and file of the colleagues, and also from voters who seem to be entrenched in certain things that are, in my view, need to be discussed.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Jackie, don't
Okay.
answer that. I will play a turn now. Just tell people why the Belize City voters should vote for Jackie. Answer that one, and then we go to your closing argument.
Okay, why should people vote for me? Because I bring a freshness. People know who I am. My history is all over the internet. They know what I stand for. And I want to see a greater Belize. And I want to partner with the people of Belize to help them, to help all of us. Because me, as citizen of Belize, so me need help too. So you must vote for me because you want to vote for a freshness. You want change, real change. You don't want to see a regular talk show. You don't want to see a regular rhetoric. You want somebody who want to come in and work for you. And my history, although it has not been in politics, has proven who I am. And know this, I said this to one of my advisors. I said, if politics makes me lose Colossians 3:23, which is work as unto God in everything that we do, then it's time for me to walk away from politics. Because my heaven ticket, I don't intend for barter. We don't want barter that. Understand me?
Okay.
So that is why people are supposed to vote for me.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Co-host, your last word.
yeah, Jackie. I want to thank you for coming on the show, and especially where you expressed that last portion. That's very important as to why people should vote for you, and that's what I was alluding to. Um, uh, and so, we are hoping that people who are listening, you know, can realize that everybody has a niche, everybody has a role to play in society, and we can only make that by ourselves after we become conscious of who we are and where we're heading, and that life is a journey. And so every day we wake up, we try to be the best version of ourselves, and throughout life, we do the best we can in the circumstances and treat people fairly and equally. And so I think you've done a lot of work in both volunteering, and your contribution has been a great one. And so I wish you all the best.
I see you evolving, my friend. I see you
Thank you.
evolving. And I wish you nothing but the very best. And
Whether or
I'm
not
looking
I'm the
forward.
best,
I'm looking forward because I know that you put your all into everything. So you will be running to win.
yes, I'm
Woo!
running to.
Let's look forward. This has been Reality with Partiality. And we've had the pleasure of attorney Jackie Willoughby being on the set, presenting the very best version of herself. Give her a chance. Keep an open mind. You've heard the presentation. You be the judge. Jackie, are you? Let's speak backstage.
Okay, thank you.